Well, it's a growing issue. Runaways falling victim to a life of sex trafficking. So far this year, we've reported on a handful of runaway teenagers.
And families are growing more concerned that their teens are being exploited. And as it turns out, with good reason. Tonight, in a CBS 42 News special report, Britt Moore explains how traffickers are taking advantage of young people already in vulnerable situations.
Press releases like this one got us thinking. It's titled "Another Missing Teen." Just another, like it's no big deal. This wasn't from one of our local police departments, but now it seems runaways or missing teens are becoming tricked into a life they had no idea existed.
Nobody knows it's happening to them. Nobody knows.
She had no idea.
It was just a life of hell.
A woman we'll call Catherine. We won't show you her face, but we'll show you her story.
At first, it was pain. I was afraid. I was afraid to leave. I was afraid to tell anyone.
For more than 10 years, she suffered.
When I realized what was going on, it was scary.
Now she sits at the Well House, a healing center for victims of sex trafficking. It's a lane that more than 300,000 children are at risk of falling into every year.
You know, I came from a pretty good family. You know, I went to school, I graduated. I just wasn't introduced to anything like that.
A story growing more common. Since the beginning of this year, CBS 42 News has reported on at least 7 missing teens, many of them labeled runaways. Luckily, most of them have returned home safely, but that's not always the case.
1 in 3 will be lured into prostitution within 48 hours of running away. So that is a legitimate concern, and that's something that we all need to be aware of.
A ballooning reality. Carolyn Potter with the Well House says runaways can be easily lured into the industry.
Eventually, after gaining their trust and building a relationship, he will force them into prostitution.
Places like Family Connection in Shelby County try to prevent that from happening with 6 beds dedicated to helping teens who need a safe place.
We may have a young person come in and stay just a few hours, or they may stay several days.
A space for runaways to turn to before they turn to the wrong person.
These young people just do not leave just to leave.
And the key is finding out why they've run away in the first place.
Everything from they got in trouble from grades on a report card, or maybe they got in trouble at school. They're having a hard time getting along with their parents and just feel like somewhere else would be better.
Sergeant Mike House with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office says right now they have 3 open cases for missing teens, primarily repeat runaways. But just because they've run away before doesn't mean they're not in danger.
There's no such thing as just another missing teen. Every missing child, every missing teenager, every missing person is loved and cared about by their family, by their friends. They want them home, they want them safe. And that's the way we treat those cases.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shies away from even referring to missing teens as runaways.
You know, when runaway children, it can also be very misleading to the public. In fact, we no longer use that on our posters because we face a desensitized public who don't always understand the risks that these children face.
Catherine ran away, had no idea what she was running to. Now she hopes runaways don't fall victim to a life that preys on their vulnerability.
That it can happen, and that there are so many people out there that will trick you into it. You have to be so careful.
Experts say become familiar with the signs, monitor your child's social media accounts, and talk to your kids about what's going on. We, of course, will have all of the information and resources for parents and kids online at WIAT.com. Just search Runaway. In the studio, Britt Moore, CBS 42 News, local coverage you can count on.